Hi guys, TotallyDubbed here, and today I'm doing a video review on the Samsung Galaxy Buds. Now these come in at £139, and if you're not fortunate enough to pre-order the Galaxy S10, S10 Plus or whatever have you, then you're going to have to fork out £139 for these. Now in this review I'll be comparing the Galaxy Buds to the RHA TrueConnects, the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless, and a bunch of other True Wireless earbuds. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now first of all, what you get in the box, aside the small little box you get over here, you've got the charging case, which aside actually charging the earphones has actually a, not a unique function, but it's got wireless charging capabilities. So you can place it under a Galaxy S10, which I don't have, and have it reverse charging, or via conventional wireless charging pad, they will wirelessly charge. That's great, but the faster charging port is the USB-C port, which is found at the back. There's a small little light which is used to indicate its remaining charge. Hopefully you can see that. Pretty simple, and it's actually quite small and very easy to take around. I actually prefer its design over all the other wireless, true wireless earbuds, just because it's so small and it's very pocketable. Now within the box you'll get a USB-C to USB-A cable in order to charge the device. You've got a bunch of silicone tips, small, medium and large, and these sort of ear hooks which sit around the ears over here. You can have them either with this sort of like fin or have it without the fin altogether, depending on what's better for your ear. There's no right or wrong. The fin will naturally sit a little bit tighter in your ear and will be useful when you're going on a run, so provides a little bit more comfort. So that's pretty much it. That's what's inside the box. However, as we're here, I do also want to show you a few other things. First of all, in terms of color, now these come in white, black and yellow. I really don't like the yellow color, but nevertheless the white ones look nice. They've got like a pearlescent sort of look to them. Hopefully you can see that. I know the camera's kind of struggling to focus, but nevertheless it's got like pearlescent type of look to it. It's not totally white, if that makes sense. That pearlescent look makes it look just a little bit off-white. Nevertheless, they're very lightweight, very much comfortable, and they sit in your ears really well. I'll show you this in just a bit when I have them in my ears when I'm talking about the sound quality. But what I really want to talk about over here is the app. So this is the Galaxy wearable app because I don't have a S10, so I have a View 20 in this case. So in terms of the functions, you can see each earbud in terms of the remaining charge, so 100% on each, which is great. And then you've got the equalizer function, which you can enable or disable, and you can customize it in terms of what you want. Personally, in terms of sound quality goes, I leave that disabled. I just feel that it really over accentuates certain frequencies depending on which mode you choose. Notifications, now I have it as off because I don't really want it to read my notifications, but you can have it to read notifications for certain apps, and you can toggle that on and off. The touchpads can also be customized. You can lock them in order for them not to actually interfere with your movements, but if you touch and hold, you can actually use it to volume up or down. You can also have the ambient sound via a quick touch button, and or have a voice command such as Google Assistant or whatever you have on your smartphone. So they don't have a dedicated smartphone, a virtual assistant. They use your smartphone for that. You can also find your earbuds, which is quite fun because you just press it and it starts beeping the earbuds. And other than that, you can update it as well directly from the app. Now the app, I've got no complaints whatsoever, provides every sort of function that you want, and it's very much useful. And finally, I should also mention the ambient sound function. You can enable and disable it through here and adjust the level of ambient sound you'd like to have, which again is very good, and also have the voice focus. Not something I personally use, but you have the function of having it there, and it's great to see it's included, and that Samsung have actually included it. Before jumping in the sound quality section, I want to talk about a few other things. First of all, the look and the design of them. As you can see, like other than being them in my hands, you can see how they look like in my ears. They're actually quite small, and you know, for the size, it means that they're not going to sit out and stick out such as like the Sennheisers or have that sort of like AirPods-esque design. They are, really well designed in this respect and very much comfortable and very lightweight. So no complaints there. In terms of connectivity, now these connect via Bluetooth. It might be pretty obvious, but they use the AAC and SBC codec, which might not be as obvious. Now, the AAC codec is a better codec over SBC, which is very much the default codec for all sort of Bluetooth devices. But when you compare it to some other earphones, for example, the Sennheisers, which use aptX, or other ones out there, you'll see that the SBC codec kind of lacks in terms of the wireless transmission you're going to get. That said, at this price range, for example, versus the RHA TrueConnect, which use AAC and SBC as well, it's nothing to be too critical about. Still, I would have liked the better codecs, Samsung. Please, next time, add those better codecs. Now, in terms of wireless transmission, there's another thing I would like to point out. Some people complain about audio lag and or in terms of earphones dropping out. Now, I didn't experience audio dropping out. I did experience a little bit of lag when it came to videos. However, the biggest problem that I had more than anything was the fact that left and right channels would sometimes desynchronize from each other. In other words, the right earbud was sounding different from the left earbud, and then within like less than a second or so, they would synchronize again and replay back, which happened more times than I can count, to the point that I thought I should mention this in the review. It's not just simply a small bug which might be isolated to certain devices. I tried on 2 different devices and yet again had this sort of problem. When I say yet again, I have experienced this problem with other earbuds, but in different ways. For example, the left bud cutting out or the right bud cutting out, or them not pairing when you put them in your ears. That, however, I must say, is very impressive with the Samsungs. What happens is, as soon as you get them out, they instantly pair to your device. And even though I don't have a Samsung phone, they really are extremely quick to pair. And I must say, I must applaud Samsung for that. So the problems I mentioned before really need to be fixed, at least in my opinion, for them to be problem-free. That can be sorted out via firmware updates, so I'm not going to hold Samsung too much on it, but still worth mentioning at the time making this video. Other than that, in terms of their functions, I did mention the sort of the design at the top over here, but these have got touch pads. If it wasn't obvious already via the app, you can customize certain functions there, play, pause, answer, receive calls, and what have you. Very easy, very intuitive to use, and they're not overly sensitive like the Sennheisers are. But that said, sometimes I felt the touch button's not working. So for example, I would hit it and I'll be like, nothing happened, or I have to double tap it to like go to the next song, and it just wouldn't work. It would just pause the song rather than registering a double tap to skip. So touchpad, touch controls, really not a fan. Same thing I found with the Sennheisers. However, the Sennheisers were super accurate with their recognition, however really sensitive. This takes it kind of like on the other extreme where they're not very sensitive, but then accurate, if that makes sense. Anyway, that aside, let's talk about sound quality. And here is where I was very much intrigued to see what Samsung had done from the Gear X Icon 2018. Now, the IconX, was Samsung's earbuds which had in-ear coaching. So already they had more features than any of the other earphones I've mentioned. But they also sounded really good. They sounded spacious and, had delivered a good sort of bass. And yes, they had a recessed mids, but they sounded pretty nice. These, on the other hand, were really disappointing from the get-go. And I've given them about 30 hours of burn-in, from using them to letting them play on their own until they run out of battery and plugging them into their charging case. I was very much disappointed with the sound quality. Not only did it sound thin, it sounded very congested, and it just didn't sound spacious at all. Worse still, in terms of the highs and the mids, overly accentuated, overemphasized, ear-piercingly sibilant, and for someone who doesn't have sensitive ears, I must say they were unbearable at times. Like, especially if you're listening to Alicia Keys, which she's got a fantastic voice, but when you hear them through these earbuds, you'll be like, oh, I just want to get them out of my ears because I can't stand that high-pitched sort of sound. So, taking you guys through the individual frequencies: sub-bass, near non-existent; mid-bass, existent and not prominent, but very much clean and tight sounding; mids, over-accentuated, more than they should have been; and highs, overly sibilant and way more accentuated. Now, for podcast, it wouldn't be bad, but other than that, for music listening, the RHA TrueConnect, for example, the Gear, the IconX 2018 far outclassed them, and then that's not even comparing them to the Sennheiser Momentum, which make them look like, I don't know, if you think these are £140 and you compare them to £280 earbuds, and I know that's very expensive, you'd think these are about £50. They just really sound completely outclassed when it comes to the Momentums. So that's really my thought on the sound quality. I just really wouldn't recommend them, and I don't know why Samsung have kind of taken a step back in terms of sound quality from the the IconX, which was pretty expensive at £180, but it had its sort of unique functions and sounded decent. I just don't understand why the Galaxy Buds are a step back. It's almost as if Samsung went, we want to go Apple route, produce pretty cheap quality earbuds which don't sound really good, just like Apple, and here are the Galaxy Buds. Great if they're free, but terrible if you're going to pay £140 for them. Now finally, I do want to touch upon one thing which just occurred to me before I round off this video, is battery life, and I know it's very important, it is for me. Now these earbuds will last you about 5 to 6 hours when you're using them over Bluetooth, well, the only mode that you've got, and listening to music. And the charging cradle provides around 7 hours. Now that might not seem like a bad deal, but when you compare them to the RHAs, which provide the same sort of thing when they're out the ear, but then provide around 16 hours on the charging cradle, or the same with the Momentums, or even the Apple AirPods, which provide around 24 hours via the charging cradle, you think to yourself, the Samsung charging cradle is small for a reason, and that's because it hasn't got much capacity to really charge these more than one charge essentially. So this will provide 1 and a bit charge to your earbuds, and that's it. And you do realize that the charging cradle runs out of battery pretty quickly, simply because when you get them out of your ears, the only one place you're going to put them other than your pocket is going to be in these. So yeah, just worth bearing in mind. So overall, do I suggest these? To be honest, no. Stay away from them. If you're going to get them for free with your Galaxy S10, if you pre-ordered, and I know this video will only be relevant to a certain time because after the Galaxy S10 is out for a while, you won't get that pre-order bonus. But for the time being, if you get them free, fantastic. If, however, you're going to be buying them, highly suggest getting the RHA TrueConnect instead. Way better sound and just much better overall. Or alternatively, if you want to stick to Samsung for some given reason, get the Gear Icon, the IconX 2018. Gives you in-ear coaching as well and sounds way better. It might not look as small, but they're fantastic, and you can go on a run with them like you do with these. And if you want something that's got a sort of stylish design, the TicPods free are a great alternative. And if you want the best class in sound and you've got no budget whatsoever, the Momentums. They're absolutely sensational. So there we go, guys. That's been my review. Just to reiterate, for those who might be new on the channel, I do this completely free. I got these earbuds when I went to the Galaxy launch. They came in a little shiny pouch, and they came free to every person who attended the thing. If you're a journalist, cameraman, or whatever, you get free Galaxy Buds. And this is my honest review of it. That's it. I'm not paid. I'm not sponsored. I just do this for fun. So hopefully you appreciate that by hitting a like, subscribe, favorite and share with your family and friends, and let me know in the comments below what you would pay for these, and or what earphones you would buy for around £150. Alright guys, I've been totally dubbed. Take care and bye bye.